Was that scripted? His
No. Well, what he says was scripted, and then he would make it up. His gibberish he would make up.
Can you talk a little bit about the Latka character? Where did it come from?
That was Foreign Man. That's Andy's character of Foreign Man. If you saw his shows, Andy used to do this show with where this character Foreign Man came up, who talked exactly like Latka. And then what he would do is in his show is he would take off his costume. I don't know what he wore as Foreign Man, but he would take off his costume and he'd have his Elvis costume on. And there was never a better Elvis impersonator than Andy Kaufman. He was the best because he had the sneer. He could do the sneer. But anyway, so they wanted that character to be the mechanic. And oh God, has anybody told the Tony Clifton story? I mean, if you see Man in the Moon, yeah. I mean, so there's, the only way Andy would agree to it is if Tony Clifton.
Were you in? Did you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Were you there? You must have been there. Yeah.
I was there. In the movie, Peter Bonner's is a compilation of me and Ed Weinberger and Jim Brooks and any of these other executives that were there. No, I was there. It's one of the great moments ever in live theater. I mean, that's a classic.
Could you describe it for me?
Oh God. I wish Tony still had his tape. Tony had a film of it, and he doesn't know what he did with it. It was, Andy, one of the agreements of Andy Kaufman doing the show was that Tony Clifton's alter ego would be cast in the show. So that show came up, I think, show 7 or 8, and then he was cast as Louis De Palma's brother. So you had Andy Kaufman playing Tony Clifton, playing Louis De Palma's brother. So we go, and Andy had day-night reversal. And Tony Clifton shows up at 9 in the morning. Andy never did. Andy never smoked, Tony smoked. So anyway, we're rehearsing and it's just not working. I don't know how good an actor you are. Playing one is really difficult. So we had to get rid of him because it wasn't going to work. Because he was Vegas. Andy did that. Tony had the ruffled shirt, even, So we had to get rid of him. So Ed Weinberger called George Shapiro's Andy's manager and said, well, "Okay, so you're going to get rid of him. Tony wants to be fired on stage in front of everybody with 2 hookers, one on each knee." So that day came, and Ed comes down to fire him, and he won't leave. Thus the theater begins. Thus the play begins. So I'm there, and I'm having the greatest time ever, because it's theater. It's total theater. And, nobody knows what to do, and, Jeff Conaway's freaking out because Andy's getting all this attention, and Tony's loving it and trying to hold Jeff back, and then Judd Hirsch finally says, "Okay, I'll play the game." So Judd literally goes over and, "Get out of here." He does that, and it ensued, and Andy's screaming as he goes out the door, and, you want to hear, whatever it was. It was just fabulous. It was fabulous theater. It was, that kid was a genius. He knew what he was doing at every moment. Everything was planned. His form of comedy was a form where he would do something till you laughed. In his act, he would come out and read the Gone with the Wind and just sit there and read it until you laughed. Genius. And balls beyond belief to be able to stay on that stage and don't care whether you bomb or not.
One of his other characters sort of appeared, the Vic Ferrari character.
Yeah, I didn't do too much. I did the first one. Mm-hmm. But then it got real crazy with Vic. But, Andy...
Was it his idea to do that?
I don't remember.
And how were you... he does do a transition right there on camera. Did you think that it was going to work, or you just...
He's a genius. Andy's a genius, and he did that. He did that transformation, and it was just you just marveled at it. And Andy didn't like to rehearse. We only did his scenes once. He never wanted to rehearse. He had a photographic memory. He memorized lines instantly. And he killed him. He knocked him out of the park. A lot of people didn't like the character, but, you know, I spent one night talking to him. You know, me and my ex-wife and Andy and a day. Was sitting in my living room.
Talking to who?
Andy, which you very rarely got to do. You know, a sweet, smart, rich kid from Great Neck, New York. Not the what you would think is the core of a great comic, but he was